Hi, I'm Karen. We're here at Montavilla Sewing Center, and today we're going to talk about the basic maintenance on your Pfaff Quilt Ambition 630. To start with, when you unthread your machine, make sure you snip your thread right here and pull it out at the needle. We're also going to take the bobbin out like that and set that off to the side like that. Okay. Now the book is going to tell you to turn off your machine for safety purposes, and that might be a good idea, but for this video we need to have plenty of light right here, so I'm going to leave the machine on. Okay, one of the first things you want to do is take the needle out, and once you've got the needle out, then you can do a lot of cleaning and just have that out of the way. I'm going to just put that off to the side right there, and then we take the foot off by just pushing down and putting the foot off to one side. So this is the start of that, but you also need to take this plate off because that's where you're mainly going to do your cleaning, is underneath here. That's where the lint builds up. And the reason for that is the feed dogs, as they're pulling the fabric along, pull off little microscopic bits of lint, especially if you're sewing anything like flannel that tends to be fuzzy and collect a lot of lint. In fact, I would recommend, as soon as you're done sewing your pajamas or your nightgown, that project is done, immediately take this plate off of here and clean underneath the needle plate. Okay, so take your little screwdriver that comes with your accessories, loosen these screws, and then once they're up high enough, you can usually do that by hand. And these are little short screws, so make sure that you put them in a safe place in a box, maybe even in your accessory here. In fact, I want to do that. Put the needle and those two screws right there, safe place. Okay, to take the needle plate off, I like to take the cover of the bobbin off, and then I can lift this off really easily. If you need to, you can lift up your presser lever a little higher, and that gives you a little extra room. Okay, so down here you can see this right here is where the thread cutting mechanism is. Usually there's not a whole lot of lint, but sometimes if you see a little bit of a thread or something there, you can take that out, maybe using tweezers or whatever. This is your bobbin case. The bobbin case, once you take it out, clean it on all sides, top, bottom, sides, everywhere, inside, outside. And then clean inside here. This is a fairly new machine, so we don't have a lot of lint right here. But clean this bobbin area really well. This is the hook area. Okay, and when you're cleaning, make sure that you don't use that canned air, that aerosol canned air, because that can cause lint to be blown further back into your machine instead of pulling it out. But the second reason, and the worst part, is that canned air tends to spray frost on stuff if you spray it long enough. And frost is moisture. You don't want to have moisture in your machine. Also, make sure you clean between the feed dogs here. This is especially important if you have cleaned, sewn anything that's fuzzy, like microfiber fleece or flannel, that or even some of your wool blends can build up fleece between there. If enough buildup happens, it can affect the motion of the feed dogs and the ability to pull the fabric along. So that's why I'm saying clean a little more often than you think you need to, and you'll get an idea based on your sewing of how often you need to clean. Now, to put this back in, this is our bobbin case, and you can see this is where the thread goes right in there. This here, this little knob needs to go to the left of that stopper, and then this flat part needs to sit right on this rim all the way around. It looks like I missed a little bit of lint right there. There we go. Okay. Now scoop it underneath the feed dogs and make sure it sits like that. I give it a little rock, but then I end up with that knob right next to the stopper, like that. Then we put this back on here. Again, a little more lift. Make sure that this little flange here needs to make sure it's underneath like that. You can also lower your feed dogs. Let's just show you that. If I had the switch back here, okay, if I lower my feed dogs, it makes a little bit more room, a little easier to put this on and off like that. push down, and it's on. Then where are those screws? Well, they're not on the floor because I put them in a safe place. Put the screws back on there like this. Get those right on there. Then once they're down far enough, I just tighten that snug with a little screwdriver. You don't have to make it really, really tight, just snug so they don't work loose. Okay, now it's time to put the needle back in. Now, part of your maintenance should be changing your needle fairly regularly. You want to make sure that your needle is not getting dull. So one good measure of that is every 3 bobbin full of thread, 3 bobbins, that's quite a bit of sewing. By that point, the tip of the needle is getting a little bit dull from going through the fabric so many times. So 3 full bobbins on the same needle, time to change the needle. Okay, and also there's other needles that you can get for specialty sewing like jeans or stretch, or for regular sewing on wovens. I like to have a Microtex needle because it's got a nice sharp point. Okay, so we want to use this multi-purpose tool. I can tell you about some of the features that this has, but this has a really nice little needle inserter, and that's that little place right there. And you can kind of see there's a flat place there. That corresponds to the flat place on the needle. When you put your needle in, have the flat side go towards the back. Now, yes, I can hold this with my fingers to put it in, but it's nice to have this needle inserter so it acts like a handle for the needle. So start out by poking the pointy end right down there where it sews, lift it up behind the needle bar guide, and giving it upward pressure, tighten the needle clamp screw. And then I'm going to tighten it just a little bit more using the screwdriver. Again, make it snug and more than finger tight. There we go. Then we put our foot right back on there, lower the presser foot on above the foot, and it's all on. So that's your basic maintenance. It's pretty simple. Something that you should do regularly to make sure that your machine is in top-notch working order. So thanks for watching. If this video has been helpful to you, give us a thumbs up. And if you have comments or questions, you can leave those in the area down below. We have lots of other videos here at Montavilla Sewing Center on our YouTube channel. So stay tuned and happy sewing. Bye for now.